Philip's knuckles whitened around the steering wheel as his mind raced. He couldn't afford to act on impulse. Tony wasn't reckless, he was calculated and dangerous. If he had kidnapped Beauty's mother, he likely wasn't working alone. Charging in could mean walking into a trap. He pulled over, forcing himself to think clearly. Taking a deep breath, he grabbed his phone and dialed. "Chief, it's Philip," he said, steady but urgent. "What's wrong?" came the response. "A man named Tony has kidnapped someone close to me. He's asking for 1 million naira. I know if I go alone, I might not make it back." There was a pause on the line, then the chief replied, "Send me the location and stay put. We'll handle this together." Philip hung up and forwarded the location he had traced earlier. He leaned back in his seat, heart pounding. Every second felt like a lifetime. Back at the warehouse, Tony paced in front of Beauty's mother, a cruel smile on his face. "He'll come. Love makes men stupid," he muttered. But before he could speak again, the sound of sirens pierced the night. Tony froze. Tires screeched. Armed officers surrounded the building within seconds. "Drop your weapons. You're surrounded," came a voice through a loudspeaker. Panic erupted. Tony's men reached for their guns, but it was too late. Officers stormed the warehouse with precision. Within minutes, Tony and his gang were on the ground, handcuffed. Philip arrived just as the officers were leading Tony out. "You think this changes anything?" Tony spat. "She was supposed to be mine." Philip didn't reply. He walked past him straight to Beauty's mother, gently untying her. She looked up at him weakly, tears in her eyes. "You came," she whispered. "Always," Philip replied. He escorted her safely to the waiting ambulance. As she was taken away, Philip turned and watched the police drive off with Tony. Later that night, Philip returned to Beauty's house. She opened the door, eyes red from crying. When she saw her mother safe behind him, she burst into tears. "Mama!" she cried, embracing her. Philip stepped back, watching them silently. Beauty looked up at him, overwhelmed. "I don't know how to thank you," she whispered. Philip stepped closer, his voice low. "Just don't ever doubt yourself again. Or us." She nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I won't." Philip reached for her hand. "We've been through the fire. Now let's build something real." Beauty smiled through her tears. "Together." And in that quiet moment, surrounded by love, healing, and second chances, they finally found peace. Philip stood his ground, gripping Beauty's hand more tightly. "Mother, Beauty is not that girl. She is nothing like her." Madame Grace looked at Beauty with a hardened expression. "They all say that in the beginning. Sweet words. Humble faces. But when the wealth comes, so does the change." Beauty swallowed, summoning her courage. "Ma, I understand your fears. But I love Philip, not for what he has, but for who he is. I didn't even know he was wealthy when I met him. I respected him when I thought he was just another man on the street." Madame Grace raised an eyebrow, unimpressed. "Words are cheap." "Then let my actions speak," Beauty replied quietly but firmly. "I work hard every day. I built my bakery from nothing. I've stood by Philip through danger, through fear. I didn't run when it was easier to walk away. I stayed because I care." The room went quiet. Madame Grace's face remained unreadable. Philip stepped in. "Mother, I'm not asking for permission. I'm hoping for your blessing. But with or without it, I'm standing by her." Madame Grace studied him for a long moment, her lips pressed into a thin line. "You've made up your mind, haven't you?" Philip nodded. "Yes." With a sigh, Madame Grace leaned back in her chair. Very well. But remember, love isn't enough to sustain a marriage. When the trials come, I hope she proves to be what you believe she is. Beauty lowered her eyes respectfully. Thank you, Ma. There was no warmth in Madame Grace's voice, but there was no rejection either, a small step forward. Philip gently squeezed Beauty's hand, offering her a reassuring smile. As they left the room, Beauty whispered, "Do you think she'll ever accept me?" Philip looked at her with steady eyes. "She will. One day. And if she doesn't, it won't change how I feel about you." Beauty rested her head on his shoulder, comforted. But deep inside, she knew earning Madame Grace's trust wouldn't be easy. Still, she was ready to fight for their love. Beauty's hands trembled as she spoke softly. "Ma, I am not that girl." Madame Grace scoffed. "That's what they all say." Philip stepped forward, his face full of frustration. "Mother, Beauty is not like the others. She's never cared about my wealth. She built everything she has with her own hands." Madame Grace shook her head. "I won't let history repeat itself. I will not allow my son to marry a poor girl." Philip clenched his fists. "I love her, Mother. That will never change." She looked at him, her expression unyielding. "Then you must choose, your family, or her." Philip's heart pounded. "Please, don't do this." "I've made my decision," she replied coldly. "You are my only child. I want what's best for you, and this girl is not it." Tears welled up in Beauty's eyes. She turned to Philip. "Maybe she's right. Maybe I don't belong here." Philip held her hand tightly. "Don't say that. We belong together." Madame Grace stood up. "If you walk out of this house with her, don't ever return." Philip stared at his mother, shocked. "You're really going to shut me out because of this?" "I'm protecting you," she said, her tone final. Disappointed, Philip looked at Beauty, his grip on her hand firm. "Let's go." Beauty hesitated. "She's your mother." "And you're my future," he said, leading her out. Madame Grace watched them leave, her chest heavy. But she didn't let it show. "He'll come back," she whispered to herself. "He'll see I was right." At home, Beauty sat quietly, her heart weighed down by pain. She hadn't expected love to come with so many wounds. She stared blankly ahead, Madame Grace's cruel words repeating in her mind. "You are poor. My son will not marry someone like you." She thought of the pain in Philip's eyes when he walked away from his mother. Her chest ached. Her mother entered the room and noticed her sorrow. Sitting beside her, she asked gently, "Beauty, what's wrong?" At her mother's voice, the tears she'd held back began to fall. "Mama, I can't marry Philip." "What are you saying?" her mother asked, confused. Wiping her face, Beauty explained, "His mother hates me. She told him to choose, me or his family. He chose me. But I can't be the reason he loses everything." Her mother sighed deeply. "My daughter, love isn't always simple. But do you think leaving him is the answer?" "I love him, Mama," Beauty whispered. "But what if his mother never accepts me?" Her mother gently held her hands. "Then you show her who you really are." Beauty shook her head. "I don't think she'll ever change." Her mother gave a soft smile. "A mother always wants what's best for her child. She doesn't hate you, Beauty, she's just afraid. She's seen him heartbroken before and wants to shield him. But you mustn't give up so easily. Philip truly loves you." "I know," Beauty said through trembling lips. But her words, they hurt. Her mother wiped her tears. "Then give her time. Let love prove itself. If what you and Philip share is real, it will survive. You can't run just because it's difficult. If he's chosen you, then you must stand by him. Beauty nodded slowly. She knew her mother was right, but the fear remained. Would Philip's mother ever accept her? Meanwhile, Philip sat in his office, buried in thought. He hadn't been able to focus since the confrontation. His mind kept drifting back to Beauty and his mother's harsh words. The door opened, and his father stepped in. "We need to talk," he said calmly. Philip looked up, surprised. His father, unlike his mother, was always more understanding. "Come in, Dad." Sitting across from him, his father said, "Your mother told me what happened." "I figured she would," Philip replied, sighing. "I know she was harsh," his father continued. "She's only trying to protect you. But she could have handled it better." Philip nodded. "I understand she's scared. But she shouldn't have humiliated Beauty. She's nothing like the girl who hurt me before." "I believe you," his father said, watching him closely. "You love her." "I do," Philip said firmly. "She didn't want my help. She worked for everything she has. She's honest, kind, real." His father smiled gently. "Then I'll talk to your mother. Maybe, with time, she'll open her heart." Philip felt a flicker of hope. "Thank you, Dad." His father stood. "You look like a man who just lost something precious." Philip raised a brow. "What do you mean?" "You've got the face of someone who's just been denied his last plate of jollof rice," his father said, chuckling. Philip laughed for the first time in days. "Thanks for always knowing what to say." "Cheer up, son. Love is worth fighting for," his father said before walking out. Philip smiled to himself. He wasn't alone. Later that evening, Philip's father returned home. He was tired but determined. He walked into the living room where Madame Gray sat on the couch, her eyes fixed on her phone. "We need to talk," he said. "There's nothing to discuss," she replied without looking up. He took a breath. "Grace, this has gone too far." She finally looked at him, eyes sharp. "So now I'm the villain? I'm only protecting our son." "No, you're controlling him," he said. "He's a grown man. He loves her. Why can't you accept that?" "Because she's poor," she snapped. "He's been hurt by a poor girl before. I won't let it happen again." He leaned in, his tone hard. "Are you planning to marry him yourself?" Her eyes widened in disbelief. "What did you just say?" "You heard me," he said firmly. "When I met you, your family was not wealthy. Your father was a teacher. Your mother, a trader. But I married you because I loved you, not for your background." She stood, her face flushed. "So you're insulting me now?" "I'm reminding you," he said. "You've forgotten where you came from. And now, your pride is hurting our son." Fuming, she stormed off to her room. As soon as she got there, she snatched her phone and dialed Beauty's number with trembling fingers. The moment Beauty answered, Madame Grace's cold voice cut through the line. Beauty frowned. "Excuse me, who are you?" The woman scoffed. "You're the reason my family is falling apart. You want to destroy everything I've built, but you won't succeed." Beauty's heart skipped. "Ma, Madame Grace. So you know my name. Good," she snapped. "Then listen carefully. I want you to leave my son alone. Stay away from Philip before you regret ever meeting him." Beauty's hands trembled. "Ma, with all due respect, I love Philip. I'm not trying to destroy anything." "Liar!" Madame Grace shouted. "This is why I hate poor people. always pretending to be innocent. I know your type. You see a rich man and suddenly you act like a saint. But I see right through you. You're nothing but an opportunist. Something stirred in Beauty's chest, anger mixed with hurt. I have never asked Philip for anything. I work hard for myself. Whatever he has done for me, he did out of love. I love him for who he is, not for his wealth. Madame Grace let out a bitter laugh. That's what they all say. You pretend to be humble and then you turn him against his own mother. Look at what you've done. Philip walked out on me because of you. You think you've won? You must leave him. Beauty took a deep breath, steadying herself. She had had enough. And what if I don't? There was a chilling silence. Don't you dare, Madame Grace said coldly. Try me. Beauty gripped her phone tighter. Philip is not a child. He chose me. I won't walk away just because you don't approve. Then prepare for war, Madame Grace hissed. Because I'll make sure this relationship ends in pain. You can try, Beauty replied, her voice calm. But love is stronger than hate. A bitter laugh echoed through the phone. You have no idea who you're dealing with. The line went dead. Beauty stared at her phone, heart pounding. She had never been insulted like that in her life. But she wasn't afraid. She loved Philip, and she was ready to fight for that love. That evening, Beauty's mother sat alone in the living room enjoying the quiet when a knock came at the door. Curious, she got up and opened it. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Grace, she whispered. Equally stunned, Madame Grace took a step back. Margaret? What? What are you doing here? This is my house, Margaret replied, still confused. What brings you here? Madame Grace was speechless. Your house? You mean, you're Beauty's mother? Yes, Margaret confirmed. But how did you get this address? I came because of my son, Philip. He told me he loves a girl named Beauty. I came to warn her to stay away from him. But I had no idea. I didn't know Beauty was your daughter. Margaret's expression softened. Philip is your son. Madame Grace nodded. Yes. And you're Beauty's mother. A deep breath passed between them, their hearts racing as years of memory flooded back. Grace. Margaret. Best friends from school. Inseparable. Life had pulled them in different directions, their friendship lost to time. And now, after so many years, fate had brought them together, through their children's love. Tears filled Margaret's eyes. I've prayed for this day. I can't believe we're meeting again like this. Madame Grace's throat tightened. She remembered their laughter, their tears, their bond. Without thinking, they stepped forward and embraced each other tightly. I've missed you, Margaret whispered. I missed you too, Grace said, voice trembling. They pulled back after a long moment, smiling through tears. I never imagined this, Madame Grace whispered. My son, in love with your daughter. Margaret laughed softly. Yes. Just like we once loved each other as friends. Life has a strange way of bringing people together, Grace murmured. Maybe this is a sign, Margaret said gently. Maybe our children are meant to be, just like we were meant to reunite. Madame Grace looked down, her heart softening. The anger she had carried now seemed so meaningless. Was this fate? A divine plan? I don't know what to say, she admitted. Then don't say anything yet, Margaret replied. Just think about it. Don't let the past ruin their future. Give Beauty a chance. Later that evening, Madame Grace sat quietly in her living room, stunned. She still couldn't believe it. Margaret, her childhood best friend, was Beauty's mother. All those harsh words she had spoken to Beauty, all the judgment, she felt ashamed. She picked up her phone and called Philip. He answered hesitantly. "Mother." "Philip," she said softly. "I need to speak with you." "What is it, Mother?" he asked cautiously. "I went to see Beauty today," she began. Philip's voice sharpened. "What? Did you insult her again?" "No," she said quickly. "I went there to stop her from marrying you. But something happened. Something I never expected." "What do you mean?" "I found out. Beauty's mother is Margaret. My best friend from back in the day." There was silence on the line. "What? You're joking." "No, my son. We lost contact years ago after we got married and moved away. I had no idea her daughter was the woman you love." Philip was speechless. I don't believe this." "I was wrong about Beauty," Grace continued. "Her mother is a kind, dignified woman. If she raised Beauty, then I know she raised her well. I'm sorry, Philip, for everything. You have my blessing now. You can marry her." "Mother, are you serious?" Philip asked, barely able to hold back emotion. "Yes, my son. I want you to be happy. If Beauty is the one who makes you happy, then I will support your love." Tears welled up in Philip's eyes. He had prepared himself to fight for this love, but now he didn't have to. "Thank you, Mother," he said, voice full of gratitude. "I should be the one thanking you," she replied. "For not giving up, even when I stood in your way." As soon as the call ended, Philip called Beauty. His voice was bright with excitement. "Philip? Is everything okay?" Beauty asked. "Baby, I have good news," he said quickly. "My mother went to see you today, right?" "I wasn't home," Beauty replied. "But my mom told me she stopped by." "Why?" "She just called me," Philip said. "She told me everything. Your mom is her childhood best friend." "What?" Beauty gasped. "Yes. And now she's given us her full blessing." Tears filled Beauty's eyes. "Are you serious?" "I'm very serious. She said we can go ahead with our wedding." "Oh my God. Philip, I never imagined this day would come." "It's here, baby. And I don't want to wait any longer." "What do you mean?" she asked, confused. "Let's get married in 2 weeks." Beauty froze. "Are you joking?" "I'm not," he said, laughing. "We've waited long enough. Marry me." Her heart raced. "Philip, I don't think," he said gently. "Say yes." Through her tears, Beauty smiled. "Yes, Philip. I will marry you." 2 weeks later, their wedding was a beautiful celebration of love, joy, and new beginnings. Beauty looked radiant in her white gown, and Philip couldn't take his eyes off her. As she walked down the aisle, his heart swelled with pride. Madam Grace and Margaret stood side by side, smiling through tears as they watched their children say their vows. "Beauty," Philip said, holding her hands, "from the day I met you, I knew you were different. You've shown me what true love means. I promise to cherish and protect you for the rest of my life." Beauty smiled back, her voice shaking. "Philip, you are my heart, my strength, my love. I will stand by you through everything, for as long as I live." When the priest finally declared them husband and wife, Philip kissed Beauty deeply as the crowd cheered. Madam Grace wiped away her tears. She had once fought against this love, but now she saw it for what it truly was, pure and beautiful. She leaned toward Margaret. "Our children found what we once had." Margaret smiled. "Yes, and I pray they hold on to it forever. And from that day forward, Philip and Beauty began a new life together, full of peace, laughter, and unwavering love. They lived happily ever after. Dear viewers, what lessons did you take from this heartfelt story? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up, share with loved ones, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more inspiring tales. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed.